they glorified God who had given such authority to men. It is a wondrous thing that God does bestow on human beings the great privilege of sharing in his works. He gives to all of humanity, for instance, that responsibility or that share in his work of creation. As we procreate, as we fulfill the very first commandment to populate the earth, we fulfill our duties and we share in the works of God when we come to discern our vocations and we live them out faithfully. We share in the work of God when we accept suffering that comes for the sake of the mission of the gospel, and we offer it up, as St. Paul would say, to make up whatever is lacking in the suffering of Christ. This is a great mystery. It's not something that our minds readily understand. And yet, if we think about how loving God is and how much he delights in us, it begins to make sense. There's a story in my family that when I was very, very little, my grandfather wanted to put a small little closet bathroom in by his bedroom. And he had a tiny little sink that he was ready to install. And I was probably about 2, maybe 3. And I wanted to help very much. And so I was going to bring him a hammer. And as I went to my grandfather with the hammer, I either tripped or he didn't take it away from me quick enough. And so I just dropped it on top of the box where the sink was. And it shattered it. And truth be told, very often, when God invites us to collaborate with him in his work, that's about what it amounts to. We drop the hammer, we break something. We get things wrong, we misfire, we misunderstand. Maybe we alienate people because we're so gung-ho, or maybe we just don't quite ever get up enough gumption to really push things as much as they need to be. But God doesn't care about that so much. Hear again those last words that we heard from the prophet Amos this morning. I wasn't a prophet, nor the son of a prophet. I was a dresser of sycamore trees, but God said to me, you, go and prophesy to Israel. And so he went. As mysterious as it is, why God would ask flawed, weak, ignorant, and mortal human beings to share in his work, which is perfect and beautiful and good and eternal, he does. And really, what logical, what reasonable response is there to the invitation that God makes us but to answer it? What else is there for us to do that could even begin to compare with the privilege, with the honor that it is to work with God? And yes, God does even choose to bestow great authority on human beings. The authority to heal. The authority to forgive sins in his name even. Do we understand why this is? No, we do not. But we do know that such a thing is a great delight to the Lord. So we may as well share in his joy, the joy of our Master, and delight in those responsibilities, those invitations to collaborate with him that he has made to us.